Hello and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with not Mike and Laurent. It is February 4th, Thursday night. I'm a little late, flying solo. In this episode, it happens again. Southampton are destroyed. 9-0 by Man United. Southampton, within the space of 444 days, lose 9-0 again. They've only happened 3 times, and it's only happened 4 times. The team has lost by 9 goals, and it's been twice by Southampton. How does Ralph Hasenhüttl handle it? And I guess maybe I have to be Ole not out. I don't know. We discuss David Luiz doing his yearly implosion, dooming Arsenal 2-1 versus Wolves, and other funky things. We'll cover the whole league. But first, Liverpool are not going to be in a title race because my beloved Seagulls and Graham Potter take them down. A couple weeks ago, we talked about Burnley beating Liverpool for the first time at Anfield since the Peasants' Revolt of 1906. And now, in the span of 3 weeks, Liverpool lose again at home. Same scoreline, 1-0 to the Seagulls. The Seagulls, Brighton, Hove, and Albion, or Brighton, Hove, and Albion, Hove, and Albion. They just beat Liverpool. Liverpool were slow. Liverpool didn't have it. Salah had a couple of chances. Liverpool did not play with Mane, but they did play with Firmino. They just not at the races. They were slow. They were ponderous. They can't seem to break teams down at home anymore. And for Liverpool, who looked like after 2-3-1 results, looked like they were starting to roll again, they are back pondering what has gone wrong. And, they're going to have to fight for the top 4. They have to play my beloved Manchester City next. And while I'm always afraid of Liverpool, especially when you have to go to Anfield, this is probably the best time City are going to have to play against them. It's going to be on Sunday. But they just simply are not there right now. I want to avoid the sort of standard narratives of confidence or whatever. But, Liverpool just don't have their players anymore. They are on year 3 of trying to play like a madhouse team. City had the same dip last season. It's really hard to sustain super duper high levels of excellence. City were great in 17-18. City were great in 18-19, dipped in 19-20. Liverpool did not chase City in the Centurion season. So this is really their 3rd season trying to play up. And City last season had their 80-point season, and this is Liverpool's 80-point season. Maybe they just don't have the gear. They're on track right now for a very low total of around 70, and I think they're going to have to fight to fit into the top 4. But let's get to the other result. David Luiz imploding again in his periodic implosion against Wolves. Arsenal were good in the first half. They created chances. They hit the post twice. Then on a little press, a little pass into Wolves' new striker, David Luiz is right behind him. He's past him. He's on goal. His knee clips the foot of the attacker. Down goes the attacker. Red card, penalty. It's unfair. It's barely a touch. The rule states if you didn't make a play for the ball and you take a player down, it has to be a red because it's a clear chance, goal opportunity. Had he tried to tackle him, it would have been a yellow. A penalty is fine. Everyone's fine with the penalty. It's the red that really kills the game. And once that happens in the second half, Arsenal aren't really able to pick up the gear again because, they just can't because they're down a man, which makes things really, really difficult. And you have to run and run and run. And then Bird Leno in the 72nd minute just loses his head, runs out with his hands up, out of the box, touches the ball, boom. Arsenal playing with down to 9 men. But Moutinho had a great goal. Pepe had a great goal. They were up 1-0, Arsenal. But, it's a little bit of a back to the drawing board for Arsenal. I thought it would be a crazy AFTV thing, but they really just lost their mind at the ref, and they go on and keep playing. Other results. Let's just go through the league after we covered our big things. No. I have one more huge thing. Sorry. Poor Southampton get destroyed again by United. I think I talked about it already, but I want to formally sort of go through the goal scorers. This game also had ridiculous red cards. A young player in his first game for Southampton, 19 years old, gets a red 2 minutes into the game. On 18, Wan-Bissaka scores. On 25, Rashford scores. Bednarik has an own goal on 34. Cavani on 39. So by the end of the first half, United are up 4-0. Then on 69, Martial makes it 5. On 71, it's 6. Then there's another call here for Bednarik. Again, he has an own goal and a penalty and a red card. They go to VAR for like a half an hour to see why they're doing this. They're up 6. What are you doing? Fernandez, of course, converts the penalty, and 2 more goals are scored for 9. So the 8th and 9th goals are when Southampton are down to 9 men. Now, United were clinical, and Southampton clearly were broken. Once the man went off, once Jankovic went off, it was weird. Although Alex Jankovic sounds, Polish. He's an African player. I don't know where they found him. Interesting. So United had 24 shots, 14 on target, and 9 goals. So they really clinical, really beat them. I feel bad for Hasenhüttl. He's got to pick his team up again. They lost 9-0 to Leicester last year in a similar thing, and it was the catalyst to turn the team around. So Hasenhüttl, who we love, has to pull it back together. We've got Potter, who we love, taking out our boys in Liverpool. So there's a bunch of good coaches that we are having to hang on with. But let's just go through the table. I'll go through the top 10. I've got a sentence on each player. City easily beat Burnley. It was a really good, classy performance. Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus with the goals. City have Liverpool next. I'll talk about that after I go through the list. United kill Southampton. I just talked about it. More funky VAR. I hate it. I want to get rid of it. It's the worst. They have Everton up next. Could be tough. Everton just pulled out their game. Leicester, sitting in third with a good win versus Fulham. Clinical, 2 goals. No Vardy, no Ndidi, no problem. Rodgers has got them humming. Young players are playing well. They've got Wolves next. Liverpool, again, we just chatted about it. They play City. Their season's on the line. I mean, they've got to beat City. If they're not going to beat City, they are in trouble. But, I still want to talk about Potter and Brighton. Webster was immense for Brighton. Brighton is just such a great team. If you want to find a team, Mike and I are in love with a couple teams. He's got Villa. I've got Brighton and Leeds. They're just why you watch football. They're fun. They're easy. They're fun to play, fun to watch, and worth the time. Again, West Ham. The Hammers continue. They're in the top 5, 1 point behind Liverpool. If they lose to City, West Ham could be in the top 4. They had 2 goals from Jesse Lingard on loan from Manchester United. He was lost. He was such a big deal. He was in the 2014 World Cup squad, but was it 2014? 2018? I don't know when the World Cup was. It might as well have been 14,000 years ago. But Lingard had two. Martinez, our favorite goalkeeper, Emi Martinez, had a little bit of a rough go. Two of the goals, they were hit hard, but they did go through Martinez. He'd like to have those back and pull them back up. Villa losing their spark a little bit. Happens with young teams. They've been up and down, losing, winning, losing, winning, losing, losing. They'll get it back together. It's really hard to sustain good play in the Premier League. Hey, I'm going to say it. David Moyes, coach of the year, kicking ass. Chelsea, if Mike was on, we would talk about Spurs versus Chelsea. Another bad performance from Spurs, but Chelsea popping it around. They lose Thiago. Tuchel's a good coach. He knows what he's doing. He has work to do, I think. I think, Chelsea still need to find a little defensive steal, make sure they don't give up goals in the counterattack. And Spurs are just terrible right now. But Chelsea have Sheffield next, and Tuchel's about to find out what real English football is about. I think Sheffield has got the bit between their teeth. They had 2 results versus Chelsea last year. They didn't drop. They got 4 points off Chelsea last season, and they're starting to play well. So keep your eye on Sheffield versus Chelsea. Everton got a good win versus Leeds. Again, it was a Leeds game, so it was up and down. 2-1. Leeds tried to push at the second half, couldn't get it done. But Ancelotti has a tough team in Everton. They play hard. Calvert-Lewin got a goal again, so his first goal in 7. We talked about it in the preview. Where are they going to get the goals? If they can get Calvert-Lewin going again, they'll be in good shape. They have a big test versus United. But, again, I don't trust United even when they score 9 goals. Who the fuck knows? And Spurs. Oh, God. Spurs sitting in 8th. Still have a game in hand. It's not the end of the world. They still have these cups. They're still kicking around, but they play West Bromwich Albion next. This is Big Sam's team, relegation fight. If Spurs cannot muster an attack, the knives will be out. I mean, Mourinho just has to get this team fighting and playing to win, not sitting on its fucking hands. The fans can't take it. The team is too good to play that badly. It's really gone badly. Villa sitting in 9th, still have a game and a half in hand, but they're sputtering. I haven't watched enough. The only thing I noticed is that Barkley's back and something's wrong with the team. Barkley takes too many touches. I'm not sure. They have Arsenal next, so that should be good at Villa Park. And then Arsenal, like we talked about, in 10th, lost to Wolves, played a good first half. Then Luiz got sent off, gave up a PK. Midway through the second, Leno shits the bed again for handling outside the box. I'm not sure what goes on with Arsenal. They have a discipline problem. They've had 9 red cards in the last 46 games. They've got Villa. This is a battle for 10th place. Lots of interesting stuff going on there. Relegation battle is still really tight. It's still Sheffield, West Brom, and Fulham. Sheffield just beat West Brom 2-1, so they are 1 point behind. They had no wins, and now they have 3 in their last 4. And so they're starting to move. West Brom have won 3 in their last 5, excuse me. So they are on 11, and West Brom are on 12. Fulham are on 14. So Sheffield United slowly moving up the charts. They were too good to be this bad. West Brom have Spurs, but they look poor. And then Fulham were getting draws when they needed wins. They lost to Leicester. I think these are the teams that are going to go down because Burnley is 8 points ahead of them. It's going to take a miracle to get out of this. But I think Sheffield will will end up ahead of West Brom and Fulham. But I think West Brom will definitely go down. But Sheffield looks like they need a miracle. They have according to the stats at Opta, they have a 10% chance of getting out of this. It would be a miracle. We went through some of the schedule. The big game is the biggest now, the new biggest game in England, Liverpool versus Manchester City. My team's playing well. They're popping it around. The only way I can see City losing this game is if they create chances but don't take them. Very normal problem that City has because their strikers there are no strikers. So they seem to have midfielders running around trying to score goals Gundogan was chipping in. Raheem Sterling is a below average finisher, so he creates a lot of chances, but misses them. He had 2 one-on-ones against Burnley, missed them both. Bernardo Silva did shoot finally, and that rebound led to Gabriel Jesus' goal. Gabriel puts himself around, but is not a clinical finisher. So City have create a lot of chances, but don't finish. One wrinkle that's come up is Aymeric Laporte is now playing left back for City. So City now playing Diaz, Stones, and Laporte together. The thing that I feel good about this game, I used to be much more afraid of Liverpool, is City don't give up goals. 6 clean sheets in a row, 12 wins on the bounce. Their next win will be the 13 in a row, is a big number. So that's exciting. We've got Villa versus Aston Villa versus Arsenal Saturday early. Man United Everton Saturday at noon. So lots of good games, lots of things to talk about. I will either be sad or happy or broken, depending on whether City can destroy Liverpool's season. Mike will be back on Monday. This is the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast. We broadcast on Mondays and Thursdays. We review the Premier League. It's better when Mike's here. I go way too fast.